Hello everyone and welcome to episode 5 of my Python beginners course. In this video I will teach you about the different types of lists in Python. Let's get started. Out of the 13 data types in Python, 4 of them are for data collection, which means you can collect multiple types of data in one. They are called lists, tuples, dictionaries and sets, and I'm going to teach you about all of them in this video. So the first and most popular one is lists. So I'm going to make a variable called fruits, and I'm going to set it equal to square brackets. And inside those square brackets, I'm going to put different values. So I could put apples, and then I use a comma, and then I'm going to type something else like bananas. And you can continue doing this, and for each one you need to have a comma. So if I were to do oranges, I have a comma, but you don't need a comma after the last one. And so that's a list. And lists can be changed later in your code. That's important. They can also contain different data types. So I could have apples, which is a string, but then I could also have a number 3, which is an integer, and I could also have a boolean like true. And so you can have different data types. The list can also contain duplicates, so I could have 3 again if I wanted to, although it will be counted as a different item in the list. You can print it out. So if I went to print fruits and close the brackets and then press enter, then it would print out the list. It's also indexed. So if I want to do print fruits, but I only want the first item, then what I could do is I could put in square brackets, hit 0, and then close it off again, and it would type out apples, which is the first one. It's important though that apples, which is the first one, starts with 0 because the computer starts counting from 0. And if I were to type print fruits 1, then that would type out 3 because that's the second one in the list. And also, just to finish off, there are a lot of functions and methods that can be used with lists to modify and change them and do different things with them. There's not enough time to go through all of them now, but if you want to look at them, you can go through the Python docs. The second data collection type is tuples. So they're very similar to lists, but with a couple of major differences. Firstly, they use round brackets, not square brackets. So I could type fruits equals 2, and then I've got to put curly brackets, the round brackets, not square brackets, and then I could type apples and oranges and whatever I wanted to. And apart from that, it works in the same way as lists, except that the major difference is that they are unchangeable. So later in my code, I can't change the values in the tuple, whereas with lists, I can. And apart from that, it's basically the same. And tuples have their own set of functions and methods that you can use with them, and you can find those as well in the Python docs. So the third data type is sets, and they're very similar to lists and tuples, but again they've got differences. So firstly, they use curly braces. So if I were to type variable of numbers and I set it equal to something, I have to use curly braces like this, and then inside I can type my values. So I can type 1, 2, 3, and it works just like that. But there are also a few key points I have to address. Firstly, they are unordered. Like in maths, they are completely unordered. Doesn't matter what order you put them in. Secondly, is that we can't change the items. However, we can add items or remove items after we've made the tuple. Unlike tuples, once we've made the set. Unlike tuples, duplicates are not allowed. You cannot have two of the same value in one set, and like lists and tuples, sets also have their own functions and methods that can be found in the Python docs. The fourth and final data type that I'm going to show you today are dictionaries. So they use curly brackets just like sets. So this is how you use them with curly braces. However, like in a normal dictionary, every item has a definition. So, for example, if I had one, I would type one with a colon so I can type its definition, and then I would type maybe like a string of integer so that I know it's an integer. Then I put the comma, then I've got my other items, and each item has to have a definition, otherwise, you'll get an error. And like sets, dictionaries do not allow duplicates. Dictionaries items are also changeable, so you can change them, add, remove, whatever you want. And they are ordered, but it's important to note that from Python 3.7 and onwards, they were ordered. From 3.6 and back, they weren't ordered. So if you're using a version that's 3.6 or before that, then they're not ordered. Because all of the data types that I've shown in this video are very similar, but with a few details being different from all of them, I suggest that if you've got issues, like errors with them, then you should look at the Python docs or search up online to find information on them. So that's the end of episode 5. In episode 6, we will learn about operators in Python. Thank you for watching and have a great day.